Welcome to this very special edition of The Author's Voice with KAJ, a show where we explore the stories behind the stories. We dive into the worlds created by authors, discover their inspirations, and ensure that you walk away enriched and inspired. And today we have with us author Marie Birtel. She uncovers patterns of dependency in toxic family systems, and her focus is on helping people recognize stressful systems and liberate themselves from them, enabling them to lead a free and happy life. And we'll be talking about her book, I Love You When, Discover the Patterns of Covert Narcissist Abuse in Families, Free Yourself, and chart a course to break the cycle of transgenerational trauma. Welcome to the show, Marie.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to the show once again, this time on The Author's Voice with KJ. And we'll be talking about, as you said, we'll talk about your book, I Love You When, Discover the Patterns of Narcissist Abuse in Families. So let's come straight to the point, Mary. First, to understand a bit about your background and what inspired you to write this particular book.
Yes, so I have to say, the book is about narcissistic abuse. It's a self-help narrative, and it's my own story. So my inspiration was my own path and my experience that I had with my own family. When I started my journey approximately 5 years ago, I was searching for a book or something that could explain what happens in my family, and I couldn't find anything. And I found one only book, a German book, that might, describe a little bit what happens when there's covert narcissistic abuse in a family system. And that helped me so much. And so I have to say, I always say I wrote the book that I would have needed when I was in that place.
Absolutely. Tell us a bit about this particular book. Who is this book for? Why would one read? How have you covered things into this? Because it's a very difficult subject. So help us know a bit more
Yes.
about details in the book.
Yes, I'm happy to. So what you can see on the title is a girl or a young woman that is covered with a box, and she is placed in front of a little ship. And I think this picture describes very well, because in a way it's a girl or a young woman who is like in a cage, and she can feel and she can see the freedom if she would, go further, but she's trapped. And I always explain narcissistic abuse in family systems that you can compare with sects. The kind of isolation, like this is the whole world. There's a lot of things to discover around this woman, but she can't see or feel it because she's never got experience with this. So narcissistic abuse is, let me explain to you, when you are born into a family system with two parents who are narcissistic, might also be only one parent, you are manipulated from the beginning on, and the world is explained to you in the way that they want you to see the world. And this is what narcissists do. They use their children for their own good. And that means usually when you're born into a family as a healthy person, as a baby in a healthy system, parents have to show you how to feel safe and how to trust in the world, to have a good, start into it. Because one day we are growing up, then we have friendships, we have relationships. So all these packages that our parents should give to us need to be like, a good package of, okay, how do we see the world? How do we go through experiences that are negative and everything like this? When you are growing up in a sect or in a narcissistic family system, they do a lot of tactics. They use a lot of tactics that explain to you, like, friends are not good, you cannot trust anybody, everybody who is nice to you, you should be aware that this person is not nice because they like you, but because they want something from you. So these are all belief, systems that you are growing up with, and it damages also a kind of part of your nervous system and also a part of your brain. And so it's it's a very I would always describe it also like a poison. You are poisoned from the beginning on, and then you have to go out in the world, and automatically something happens outside. You go back home because this is what you know. And so in a way, your biggest enemies are your loved ones, and this is the betrayal.
Absolutely. So, how should one understand narcissistic abuse in families? Because generally, people will say something which is for the protection of children in different cultures, different ways. They tell about not talking to strangers. Now, that is a very sane advice for many people. They have to be into, especially in today's world. Now, not only in real life, but also online. Also, you have to be extremely cautious about things with whom you are dealing online.
Yes.
And then other sort of advice also. So how should one know whether this advice is coming from normal people in the family, or someone who has got that sort of a negative trait called narcissism?
Yes. So first of all, I have to say, narcissism, what we are talking now about, is something that is pathological. It's a disorder. So luckily, it's not so common. Okay, I have to say, but you can feel a mother who wants to save you, is trying to tell you not to talk to strangers, not to take sweets from strangers. Be careful when you are on social media and get in contact with somebody. The difference is when you are having a friendship or a relationship with someone from school, or you are in love the first time, or you have a boyfriend or you have a girlfriend, and you really feel blessed, and this person is good for you, and you feel loved, and there's everybody who can see also from outside how good this relationship is for you. And then your mom comes and says, no, I can see that this person is bad. Or like in my case, she would always tell me, my boyfriend doesn't know yet, but he has a cancer and he's going to die. So one day I will be alone, so I need to change the boyfriend because of this. And it was just, a lie. She just made this up. So these are the things. And also, usually in this kind of family systems, from outside nobody would see it, but when you look behind the walls, you can see a lot of abuse, and sometimes there's also, unfortunately, physical abuse. So in my case, for example, also, my father used to beat us up very hard, very often, all the three of us. And my mother wouldn't do anything against it. But on the other hand side, she would tell us not to see friends because we should, sleep more, or things like that. So it's called double binds. Yeah, like the communication in double binds. So it's in a way, she uses these kind of good things and turns them into bad things, but always covered, and this is the covert narcissist, in a victim role and in a motherly role that says, but I only want the good for you. And I know it's very complicated to differ also when it comes to religion, or when it comes to culture, what you said, in a way how we are raised. I was raised in Germany, but I was raised Catholic, so women or girls had to behave very different. So I know also from other countries that it's not easy to differ, but it's always the misuse. When you misuse religion, when you misuse culture for your personal good as a mother, for, making the life of your child not better, then it is narcissistic, and then it is abuse, emotional abuse.
Absolutely, Mary. So, how have you dealt this, difficult subject in your book? Are there particular chapters? Have you given solutions? What are the solutions?
Yeah, so that was my biggest goal when I was writing the book. So first of all, I have to say I'm a journalist, and I wrote my whole life. For me, writing is a tool to, compensate emotions, and also for victims of narcissistic abuse. Um, they have a totally different way of seeing things and people. This is what we call the red flags that are ignored. A lot of people who are raised like this can't see bad things because, when they were children, they had to, differ it because their parents were the red flags. So it's a psychological wise. So what I did is, I started with some chapters in the beginning about the psychological view of it. So the book starts with the explanation of what is covert narcissism, what is the difference between covert and overt narcissism, and how does it show. Also, it gives you a lot of information about symptoms, because even if you can't really place it, you can see or feel that something is wrong with you, because a lot of victims have eating disorders, depression, mental issues. So I put everything in the beginning of the epilogue. And my goal was to write 40 years, because I started the book with the heroine Emma. That's her name, how I called her. And she was born. So I start with the birth story. And then there are a lot of small, short chapters, very packed. And they are starting in 1985 until 2002 and 2021. So it's the story of a girl that is born into a narcissistic family, how this shows, and also how, for example, the brothers are acting. How are the brothers in this system developing? And how does it, show also when you are as an adult going out into the world, and then in relationships, how much impact, and how does it show um, what this narcissistic abuse does to you and your life. So this was my biggest goal, and I think I really achieved it, because the feedback is fabulous. I've got like number one in many categories in France, in Germany, and in the US, because I published it in English and in German. Because a lot of readers would give me the feedback that they have always been blamed, also from therapists, by the way, when they would say, my mother is very strange, I feel like something is wrong, by therapists, because they would say, oh, you are just, making this up, your mother can't be like this, blah, blah, blah. So victims need somebody from outside to tell them that this is not right. And so you can go through these chapters. And also, when you leave this abusive system, doesn't mean, okay, now you're out of it and now you can be happy. No, because it's a part of you. It's also when I say you grow up in a sect and you leave the sect. So this is when the healing starts, because you have identified with the belief system, you have identified with the trauma, it's internalized. So a reader can go through every situation that you can go through, and I write about or from the view of a woman, a girl, and then a woman, but I also have the twin brother, the older brother, the parents, the grandmother, so everybody around. So you get a very, very good feeling and idea of how this is going on, and also how the system is enabling, also from society. And then in the end, when the story is finished, I also put in the end how to get out of it, how to seek what is the most important for help, and how to and I explain also transgenerational trauma. So it's a mixture of a story and psychological topics explanation.
Absolutely. So, Mary, who is this book for? Any particular person in mind, or how would anyone even know that okay, this is the problem I'm facing? But any particular target audience for this book?
Yes. So I would say the first audience, the main audience, is female, probably. And I have to say, it's always when you feel you are unhappy in a relationship, or you are in a pattern, like in a same relationship in a pattern, or again and again with the same man, like, oh, he again treated me bad, he again abused me emotionally, whatever, or somebody who is always treating you the same, but you still stay, you should read it, because you could get an idea why. And this is the good message. It's also a part of you contributing to this kind of relationship. So it's for women who are may be victims of narcissistic abuse. This is also what I get a lot, is like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, I know something is wrong, but I don't understand really what it is. Then read it. And if you're coming in the end to the clue, oh, okay, I'm happy, I have not, this part is not a narcissistic, but you still have a good story. It's very good written. And also the other target is a target group is people who are surrounded, like when you have a friend, like a good girlfriend, and she's with a guy who is really bad with her, and you can't understand why she is still with him. Read it, because it explains a lot how or why these women are still staying in abusive relationships. Or because for friends it's very hard to see you struggling, but you are not doing anything, and this helps to understand also, and to be even more close to your friend again, because this can cause a lot of problems between friendships also. Yeah.
Absolutely, Mary. Now, the title of this book, "I Love You When." What is does that indicate? When part?
Yeah, that's a nice question. I wrote the title very much in the end, and it is very easy, because it's "I love you when" means conditional. So all what we human beings need when we are born into this world is unconditional love. And this is it. We can have, problems, we can have event traumas, things can happen in life. I mean, look at the world at the moment, it's going crazy. But if you are stable in a loved, surrounding, family, loved relationships, you can go through everything, because you have somebody who's like with you. Conditional love is abusive, I would say, because in this moment have it's not really love. You just feel like loved when you give something, when you do something, when you are, for us women, when you are pretty, when you are thin, when you are nice, talking smoothly, not too emotional, blah blah blah, things like that. So this is conditional, and this is something that needs to change, because I really have to say, there are so many problems in the world, and so many things that are people have to conquer. But when you are loved conditionally, this is not supportive. So I chose this title for the book, because it shows how much impact it has when you are not loved unconditionally.
Absolutely. So, I want to understand one thing. What were the challenges while writing this book? What is the easy write? It must be very emotional also, because you have to relive the difficult time in your life and then get down to writing it, and also bring value to the to your readers.
Yes. Oh wow, yes. I have to say, I'm a ghostwriter. For me, writing for others is so easy, like, but this path was 9 months. and it was like this. It was really like this. That's also why I have a new program on that. I already work with German authors at the moment, and I also do it with English authors. It's called Self in Story, because what I missed during that procedure was the psychological support. Because when you write things down, and you first of all, it's a good thing because you are out of the situation, so you're writing about somebody, not you, but still there can be a lot of triggers or things coming up from the memory that you have maybe even forgotten. That happens a lot to traumatized people. So it was like really this, and I had a good lecturer afterwards. And the best thing was, in the end, the lecturer didn't know me, and she would put some things and say, oh, but no, this Marie is not, this is too much you made this up too much. And then I knew, okay, this is good, because there are real stories of my path that people sometimes would think from outside, people who are healthy, oh my God, this can't be even real, So it also has a lot of psychopathy in it, I would say. So, and this helped me also because it gave me the feeling of, yes, I didn't make this up. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't too sensitive, I have to say, because everybody would tell me, like my family, you are too sensitive. So this writing was really, really exhausting, but it was the first step into the freedom. And also, I have to say, I have until today not even one negative feedback to it. Okay, there are people who are rating me like with 3 stars or whatever, or 5 or 4, but this is normal. But the feedback during the topic is like, so many people are coming to see me at the moment, to work with me, to listen to my readings, because they say, finally somebody tells how this is and can put it into words. And so I have to say, I was really like crying a lot. Ask my husband, he was like with me in this. But yeah, I have to say, I'm very proud of what it is now. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, for your readers, what are the key insights? What are the key messages that your readers, do you think, will walk away from this particular book?
Okay, so the first thing for the message is, you can get out of it. You can still have, and this is not how old you are, it doesn't differ if you are 20 or if you are 50. You can change your life, and there is much more and better things than your abusive family told you there is. And also, second message is, you are not alone in this. After war, the generations after the wars in the whole world, they are all how you say in English, they all have the same patterns in this. So our generation and the generation before and after, we are all together in this. You can change it. And you can also change it, not by doing, you don't need to have 10 years of therapy. You can also do a reading. You can write. I have also insert a workbook that is for free, where you can, download I have to show it here, where you can download a workbook and just go through it. So there's still hope. Even if you feel like very low and you have depression and you have the feeling nobody can help you, there is help and there's change. And I also want to say, the third message is, we have to change, to put the blame or shame not to the victims anymore, because we are always so fascinated by the abusers, and we are like trying to put the victims down. But it's time now to change this, and to like let the victims speak up and give them the space and the time to speak up, and the healing can be then there.
Absolutely. There's so much to learn about all this from you, Marie, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn more about all this, and also from your book and also take your advice in whatever they are facing at the moment. So what's the best way for them to do so?
Yes, so you can find me on my website. It's www.mariebirtel.com. And you can always book a first 20-minute no cost advice from me. Like, let's talk, let's get into communication. I'm working with a lot of people from the US. And I can really say, like, there are at the moment not a lot of people or really experts who understand the topic. So just reach out to me, send me an email at hello@mariebirtel.com. Otherwise, follow me on Instagram. And just if you need help, just let me know, and I can also give you advice, send you book recommendations, others, and let you know how to get out of this to have a better life.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the Author's Voice with KAJ. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you so much.